Hello, I'm Nir Kosti, a research fellow at the Political Science Department at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, and I'm happy to share my latest publication on regulation and governance. The paper, Conceptualization and Measurement of Regulatory Discretion, Text Analysis of 120 Years of British Legislation, introduces the concept of regulatory discretion and measures regulatory discretion in the United Kingdom between 1900 and 2020. The paper begins by stating that although similar concepts have received considerable scholarly attention, including bureaucratic, administrative, and executive discretion, not much is known about how democratic governments design regulatory discretion and how it evolves across countries and policy areas and over time. To address this gap, this paper defines regulatory discretion as the transfer of regulatory powers from the legislature to the executive branch in a way that shapes the ability of the executive to make regulations freely or restrictively. It then conceptualizes regulatory discretion according to three dimensions: obligation, content, and procedure. Obligation refers to whether the executive branch makes regulation on its own initiative and also whether it is mandated to do so. Content focuses on the discretion to define the regulation's details. Procedure refers to the discretion to control the regulatory process vis-a-vis executive and parliamentary veto players. Taken together, these three dimensions illustrate how legislators design the exercising of regulatory authority. The study then measures regulatory discretion in British legislation during the period 1900 until 2020 using computational text analysis and natural language processing. It employs synthetic dependency parsing and demonstrates how the number of permissive delegations has increased over the years and how this delegation restricted the regulatory content. Specifically, the findings show a significant increase in permissive content provisions that instruct what regulations may do. Although discretion has largely been constrained by the content of regulations, the paper argues that the use of permissive content provision rather than mandatory or constraining content provisions maintains high level of discretion. The paper makes several contributions to the literature. First, it develops a framework for analyzing regulatory discretion across countries and policy areas and over time. By using this framework, scholars can analyze regulatory discretion across legal systems and languages. Second, the paper proposes a novel method for measuring regulatory discretion based on computational text analysis and natural language processing. When examining discretion empirically, this method is more effective than previous methods. Third, the paper provides insight from a legislative text perspective into how the British regulatory state has developed. Thus, it provides an understanding of the conditions from a comparative perspective that led the UK to become a country with a relatively high number of regulations. Thank you very much.